Namo Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha.
Very good. Hmm. Okay, can you read this one here in Mahayana?
In the Mahayana, trance is usually termed samadhi. Often the trance has a name and may appear in the title of a sutra as the ultimate aim of the Buddha's sermon. Samadhi Raja Sutra, for example, many include supernatural visions such as the pure color samadhi or the samadhi of the direct encounter with the Buddhas of the present.
Okay, stop,
As
stop,
the,
stop there. So summarize what's about.
they said the term in Mahayana for trance is samadhi. And
Okay,
there's like many sutras and teachings from the Buddha about samadhi.
okay. Michelle, how you been, Michelle?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So Aaron, can you tell Michelle, how can we enjoy a lonely life instead of a a group life, a friendly life, or community life? What's the difference?
Um, the difference, uh, I think to like more aware, like hyper aware time with yourself may make you feel more confident, whether there's people around you or there's not any people around you.
What happens if someone or most people they love to have a company? What happens if they depend on those body and so forth? What happened to them?
Then they're prone to suffer because their life is dependent on others, and so and not all the time will others be there, and others come and go, so it's gonna be harmful towards them.
Hmm. Michelle, you got what Aaron just said?
Yeah,
What's mean? Which one is more healthy?
being lonely,
Why? Why being lonely is healthy?
uh, because you don't need to waste your time on others.
Mm, if you say be lonely is more healthy, actually it's just a partial meaning of that, right? So when you are by yourself, you have to have some techniques to take care of your mind. Otherwise, it should be crazy. By myself,
Yes,
it's why if you don't know how to take care of your mind, but you stay alone by yourself, your mind may be crazy. You know why, Michelle?
uh, and no,
Aaron, can you help? Why is that?
Because then you are, it's like it's like when someone who abuses drugs, you take that drug away from them, they go crazy. They need it.
Just imagine that you stay inside your room for a whole day without talking to someone else. Can you handle that, Aaron?
Right now, I don't think we can. It'll be, it'll feel like everything's been like longer and more excruciating. Time will feel slow.
Hmm. But when you hang around with them, time go quickly, right?
Yes.
But so that means your life depend upon them, right?
Yes.
So when they come, you're so happy. When they go, you're so sad. Your sadness and happiness depend upon how they come and go, right?
Yes.
Healthy.
No, it's not.
So that's why I say here, the Buddha provide us to have a tools, meditation to calm our mind when we stay alone. If you just stay alone and without doing anything, yes, it will be disaster, right? Maybe people may have that kind of depression when they stay alone because no one to talk about, no one to communicate with them. they feel lonely. But if you have the tools, if you have techniques, how to calm your mind, you can enjoy that. You can enjoy the moment that you are within yourself. Make sense, Michelle?
Yes.
Why it makes sense?
Um, like something along the lines of like the reference to drugs, like if you like it's kind of like addiction, and then the time is slower like when you're alone, and then it goes faster with other people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Yeah, actually, these are just information for you guys to understand. Later on, you can learn more. Go ahead, Michelle. Witness as with the Fordiana.
As with the 40 years, their description generally include the negative mental qualities that have been dropped and the positive qualities that have been acquired. But it is now in the visionary aspect that the salvational message is now located. That is in Mahana, which the sense of religious path is usually more detailed. One looks for trans experience of extrasensory perception as confirmation of having reached a particular stage in one's progress to anticipation.
Right. You understand this? It's pure long. It's pure deep, right? You understand, Michelle?
Yes.
Can you summarize what's about?
Like the Floridianas have negative mental qualities, but it's dropped. And instead of those, they have positive. And in Mahanya, the sense of a religious path is more detailed because they have past experience, and you know that you reach a particular stage to your emancipation.
Okay. So that's mean liberation, right? You're free. You're free from the feeling that people come and go, right? If you have that kind of practice, meditation practice, right? Okay, go ahead, Aaron. The next one, please, Aaron. Yeah.
Mindfulness. The central part of all Buddhist systems of practice is the cultivation of what is called mindfulness. This word translates various practices that come under the headings of samadhi, smriti, manasakara, amupasayana, and so on. They all refer to the mental application in the sense of attentiveness to a particular object of concentration, denoting precisely where the mind is directed, or what it is paying attention to at any given moment.
Stop there. It's okay, what's about?
They introduced the term mindfulness, and there's many practices that go under this category of mindfulness. But overall, mindfulness is a sense of attentiveness to a particular object of concentration.
Okay. Can you give one example?
Um, Maybe when you're focused on maybe you're focused on something your teacher is teaching on the board,
Okay.
or maybe just meditating in general. Like when you're meditating, you could be focused on the point of your breath.
Well, while you're eating, you watching movie.
Yes, and ideally to eat, you're supposed to pay attention to your food, but instead, if you're watching, then you're like not paying attention to what you're eating.
What happened if someone put a hot pepper?
Then you would never know, and you would burn. Your mouth would burn, and you wouldn't know.
This happened to you before?
Uh,
You was
no,
to put something strange in.
no, it never happened to me before. But um, Yeah, nothing similar happened to me before. I don't think so. I don't remember if it.
And how about you, Michelle? It happened to you before? Someone, like your mom, put something on your bowl that made you surprised when you didn't pay attention? This happened before, Michelle?
No.
Oh, good. Okay. Go ahead. Next one, Michelle. Since.
Where?
Since Buddhist.
Since Buddhist view of consciousness presumes a rapid sense of discrete thoughts, the exercise of maintaining an object in one's mind over a period of time for a few minutes to that object, whether it requires it lie outside the cell or inside the case of the mindfulness of something conjured up from the past.
Okay, can summarize what's about?
There's like this exercise where we maintain like an object in your mind for a period of time, like because the Buddhist view of consciousness has a rapid series of discrete thoughts, so it helps.
Okay, what happened when you think too much about the past? Michelle.
uh I think it's your senses like go into what you're thinking.
No, I mean that what happened if you think too much about the past? You may regret something that you have done and you wish that you can redone that, right?
Yes.
So what happened with your mind when you think too much about the past?
I don't know.
You know, Aaron, can you share what happened if you think too much about the past?
If you think too much about the past, then you suffer.
Give one example.
Maybe you think so much about a bad grade you did. And then so you just be in constant agony, just thinking about that poor grade. But instead, you could be working towards a better grade in the present.
What happened if you remember something is so beautiful for you? Something is so, for example, the food so delicious, or you hang around with beautiful people and so forth. What happened at that moment when you think about them?
You think good.
And what happened if you think so much about them?
Then you you think so much, then you feel attached to them.
And you lost the present moment, right? Right.
Yes.
How about Michelle? You know what happened if you think too much about the future? For example, you wish that you be doctor, you be free, and so forth and so forth in the future. What happened then, Michelle?
I think you start to worry about what you do
Why? If you think too much about the future, you start to worry too much. Why?
because like you want the future to be good, so you're trying your best. And then if like what you do is like you're trying to make it right so you get a good future, so you worry about what you're doing.
Okay. So, Aaron, how can we balance out? Not think too much about the past, not think too much about the future, but focus on the present. How?
Um, just keep yourself busy or with a goal to
Okay.
do at that time.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty good. And plus, you do meditation when you train your mind at the present moment. It's more healthy, right?
Yes, time.
Whereas when you focus on the present moment, it's more healthy than think about the past or future. Why? Why?
Um, it's more healthy because it's something you can control now. So you will not suffer from something you can control now.
Wow, that's. Can you give one example?
Um, an example could be like if I use my that test thingy.
Mhm.
You might be, if you think so much of the past, you might be scared. Or you might feel bad about your grade. If you think so much of the future, you might be scared of the test, the new test coming. But what you can do now is to study for it, so then you feel confident in the future,
Okay. So which one you can control?
the present time.
Yeah, go ahead. The next one, please, Aaron. Yeah, the Buddhist.
The Buddhist theory of casualty, in which volition is conditioned by spiritual ignorance and consciousness, in turn conditioned by this volition, and so on, is wrongly understood by many people to mean that there is no possibility of free will in Buddhism. However, the the importance that Buddhism places on the practice of mindfulness should dispel this misunderstanding. It is a subtle point, perhaps, but an important one. Although the way in which one processes information may be affected by previous thoughts, decisions, and opinions, there is still a decision at every moment of consciousness regarding what the mind would be concerned with or focused on. One purpose of mindfulness practice, therefore, is gradually to free oneself from habitual ways of responding to the world and to the self. Without progress in mindfulness, then one cannot proceed to the more difficult meditations characterized by trance and wisdom.
Yeah, understandable.
Yes.
What's mean?
Actually, I don't understand the first thing, saying about theory of casualty.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Uh,
Yes.
but I think it's just saying like that they call it ignorance, but you're more so just focused on the present,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
Uh, and then there's another point where it's talking about what we're talking about, like to focus on the present rather than thinking of things in the past or the future, because no matter if it was the past, present, or future, your mind and your consciousness is always there. You can always think for yourself. You can always do and control your thoughts and actions and behavior.
How could mindfulness practice can free you from habitual pattern?
Uh,
How?
if you're mindful, mindfulness practice would be able to because habitual patterns basically it's a pattern in our life. It's a routine we developed in our own mind. But
Mm.
having practicing mindfulness we would be able to um uh control these patterns. You know, we won't be controlled by our pattern, but we'll be able to control our pattern.
Okay, like the baby come to the temple, they love sheep and cock, right? How could you guide them to use mindfulness practice to change that bad habit?
Uh, I guess maybe you could spread awareness about what these drinks could do, but sometimes they don't care, or they don't even understand what you're saying.
Ah. But use of the test of the sheep and the cock, right? So how could you
Yes.
help them to get away from those habits then?
Um,
If they
maybe
think too
we
much
can,
about those poison,
if they don't know much about the poison.
if they focus too much about those poison,
Oh, we can change their focus on something else. Maybe something that's better.
that's why you ask them to sit down and focus on the breath, right? At that moment, when they focus on the breath, they would not remember much about the poison, right? The chip and the cock, right? Mm. Okay,
Yes.
so Michelle, please. Next one, Michelle.
A classic treatise from the 5th century CE really listens, which my devotes hundreds of pages to various forms of mindfulness meditation. The two base the two most basic categories of mindfulness are called calming and insight, and both are categorized as serenity practice. Calming practice is the first stage of any meditation. The mind's usual busy activity of jumping from one idea to another must be brought to a halt.
Okay, what's about?
Like they had like this form of meditation because people do, because they didn't, like, we shouldn't have our ideas, like our minds jumping from one idea to another.
Mhm. Aaron, can you explain to Michelle what we talked last week about the wave of the ocean? Remember, which one is more dangerous? Which one is more safe? Oh, we cannot hear you.
The more safer option would be the more still waves, but the more dangerous would be the wavy waves.
Right. Can you explain uh, in the term of mentality?
Oh, and the analogy is that your mentality, uh, so you're more likely to want to have fun, and the consequences of that is you're more likely to have a lot of feelings going up and down. So it's like saying you like to have fun with your friends and you feel happy and your mood is up. But then once your friend is gone and you're home alone, for people that are not able, the people that are not mindful, they they would feel sad. So that's why they would go down. And that resembles like the ocean waves, how it's always moving up and down and crashing against the shore. And that's what makes it dangerous. Because one, with that mentality, you're suffering. And for the waves, it's you could get sucked up in it and you could get injured or maybe even die.
About the still one.
But the still waves, it's the analogy for that one is saying your mind, you have like control over your mind. Like it's still. It's not necessarily saying that you can't be happy or you can't be sad, but I think it means that you have control over your mind. You are mindful of being alone with yourself and not being dependent on any outside factors.
Michelle, you follow Aaron's explanation about the waving wave and the still wave. Michelle,
Yeah.
can you give one example of your mentality? Which one is more dangerous? Which one is more safe? Can you give one example, Michelle?
The waves, like the high ones, are more dangerous,
Okay.
and reference to the mind is like when your mind is very like active and when your mind is calm.
Okay. So, how often do you have the still wave, Michelle?
When
You
I'm
have
happy,
more. You have more still wave, or you have more waving wave?
I have more waving.
Really? How about you, Aaron? You have more still one or more waving one?
I would think I have more. I think now I'd be more wavy.
Okay.
It's much it's much less common for me to have still. I would wish to balance it out a little more.
Okay. And you may be crowded, right? Because of that waving wave, right? Yeah.
Yes, I might drown.
To be crowded, right? So that's the danger. So that's why this is our teaching here so that you can understand. Oh, let me finish early for you guys, right? Go ahead, my Aaron. Say, may I please, Aaron?
Oh, um, may I be mindful?
Michelle, can you repeat after Aaron, please?
May I be mindful?
May I be attentive,
May I be attentive?
and may I have a little fun.
May I have a little bit of fun?
Hey, Michelle, can you say may our weekend, please?
May our weekend be nice?
May our weekend be nice.
May our weekend be happy?
May our weekend be happy.
May our weekend be good?
May our weekend be good.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, please stay with Cô Thu Nguyễn for a while, okay? Yeah, let me